Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or other individual.
Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers. Welcome to Sue's Healthy Minutes. I'm so excited you've joined me today, and I hope this episode encourages you and allows you to find the answers you have been praying for the health of you and your family. Today on Sue's Healthy Minutes, I'm going to try to answer one of my most frequently asked questions. In fact, at the recent Need Your Cure conference in Oxford, Mississippi, where I was a guest speaker along with 5 other great presenters and healthcare providers, the very first question asked of this brilliant panel in the question and answer time was directed to me. How much bread should I be eating every day to see the health benefits that so many speak of? So today, I will try to answer this question as logically as possible. First, I do need to say that it is interesting to me that we are so dosage-minded in America. We ask, how much bread do we need to eat? Like asking, how much medicine do I need to take? I get the whole idea of letting food be your medicine concept, but I never want anyone to approach bread like it is something we have to eat. When I first started on my journey of milling my own grain and making all my bread, muffins, pancakes, and other baked goods for my family, I never even considered how much we needed to be eating. We just incorporated these new, real, whole grain foods into our normal meals. We didn't really change what we ate at mealtime. We just made sure that any bread or grain food was freshly milled and real. It is important to remember that for much of the world, whole grains, beans, and fresh fruits and vegetables are the base of the daily diet at every meal. But let's look at what the general recommendations have been over the years. For years, the USDA used a food guide pyramid, and the general recommendation was 6 to 11 servings of whole grains, including bread, cereal, rice, and pasta every day. The grain category was the base of this pyramid, with the recommendation to make at least some of these choices whole grain. Today, the food guide pyramid has been replaced with a new visual guide called My Plate. On the My Plate diagram, half of the plate is divided equally between grains and proteins, and the other half of the plate is divided between fruits and vegetables, with vegetables making up a slightly larger portion than the fruit part. The guidelines revised in January of 2020 recommended 3 to 5 whole grain servings a day. These can surely serve as guides, but are not meant to be hard and fast rules. So what is the answer to this frequently asked question? How much bread do we need to eat every day? And how do we get the recommended servings? The key is making all your grain choices whole and real. And more importantly, it means incorporating whole grains into every meal. What might a serving look like? A serving of whole grains is considered by some to be a 1-ounce portion. So this might be 1 slice of bread, a 1-ounce muffin. Now mine are typically about 1.5 ounces from a standard muffin pan, or 1 to 2 pancakes, a half a cup of brown rice or whole grain pasta, or a cooked hot cereal such as grits or oatmeal. So an average day for me might include a muffin or toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, which is going to be 2 pieces of bread, 2 servings, and brown rice and a roll or other type of bread for dinner. So that's about 6 servings right there without even thinking about how much I need to eat. If it is a pasta night, then my pasta will be whole grain and, of course, some sort of bread to go with it. Mexican night will be whole grain tortillas. Chili night, we will definitely have cornbread made from freshly ground corn. In reality, my menu planning often centers around what bread I am in the mood for, not how much bread do I need to eat. In addition to the recommended servings of whole grains we need to be getting in a day, there is also the recommended fiber. When centered around whole grains and bread made from freshly milled flour, it is easy to get our 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, as one slice of real bread easily provides 3 to 4 grams. In 2 previous episodes of Sue's Healthy Minutes, number 48 and 50, I mentioned the protocol of Dr. Ken Anderson, formerly of the University of Kentucky. His program was called the 1-2-3-4 High Fiber Eating Plan. You might remember it if you listened. His recommendation was simply to include in your diet 1 serving from the cereal group, and that's either a prepared high-fiber cereal choice or something like granola or oatmeal. 2 servings of fresh fruit, 3 servings of vegetables, 4 servings of starch, which includes your high-fiber whole grains, breads, brown rice, or pasta. The bread, of course, we want to be made from freshly milled flour. That's his 1-2-3-4 protocol. In his protocol, he considers a 2 to 3 ounce portion of bread and a 1 cup of brown rice or pasta as a serving. So you can see that following his plan, you could easily be getting more like 10 to 12 1-ounce serving sizes recommended by other standards. But again, I want to point out that how many servings we need to be eating in a day does not have to be our focus or a task to achieve. Just remember, when you are eating a simple diet of real foods, such as real fruits, real vegetables, and real whole grains, and real whole grain bread, there is really no need to worry too much about what determines a serving, the amount of fiber we need, or even the calories we might be consuming. Just make whole grains and real bread a conscious part of every meal, every day, every way. Real foods such as these are going to fill you up, so the chances are slim that you will overeat or indulge with an oversized serving. High fiber foods such as real whole grains fill you up and satisfy you naturally for a longer period of time. Sadly, the average American eats less than 1 serving of whole grains per day, and some studies show that over 40% of Americans never eat whole grains at all. The anti-grain and anti-bread and anti-gluten agenda that has been pushed on us over the past 10 years has certainly not helped. And of course, the age-old philosophy that bread will make us fat is a particular concern, especially among women. So many people shy away from bread for this very reason. But the truth is that much of the world lives off of whole grains and beans, especially the less industrialized cultures, and those rarely see the obesity and health issues of America. In fact, a 12-year study conducted among women to investigate the relationship between the intake of dietary fiber and whole grains over time found that those who consumed more whole grains consistently weighed less than women who consumed less whole grains. Those who had the highest intake of whole grains had a 49% lower risk of obesity. Research also shows that those who consume 3 or more servings of whole grains a day saw better insulin metabolism, reduced risk of metabolic syndrome, a reduced risk of heart disease, and various cancers. Complex carbohydrates such as whole grains and bread made from freshly milled flour supply our muscles with fuel. It improves stamina and endurance and increases our energy. Whole grains are a rich source of B vitamins, many minerals, one of the richest food sources of vitamin E, even a good source of critical amino acids and proteins, and of course, lots of good fiber. Remember, whole grains, and particularly bread, has long been considered the staff of life. So don't look at it as something that you have to eat. Look at it as something you get to enjoy eating. Over the many years now of teaching about the health benefits of real bread made from freshly milled whole grains and sharing the hundreds of testimonies we have heard of improved health, this question just continues to come up. I have also had people explain to me that they have not seen the results and health benefits that I talk about so passionately that myself and others have experienced. When I ask them how much bread they are eating, they often answer with something like, well, I eat my muffin every morning. Well, that's just not enough, especially if you go on throughout the day eating white flour and processed fast foods or other processed foods. So how much bread do we need to eat to see the benefits that we want to see? For me, when I started milling and making all the bread for my family, I went all in. It was no white flour, no white sugar ever again to enter my home. So when I'm asked, how much bread do we need to eat to see the benefits that we want to see? My first answer is simple. Jesus compared himself to bread. So how much Jesus do we need? Every day, every way. Remember, he taught us to pray, give us this day our daily bread. I hope you have been inspired to eat more bread. And I want to thank you for listening today. Until next time, this is Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minutes.
Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast has been a presentation by the Bread Beckers Incorporated located in Woodstock, Georgia. For more information, store hours, and learning opportunities, visit breadbeckers.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Share this with 2 friends who would benefit from this information, and be sure to join us again next week for more of Sue's Healthy Minutes.